Today, we're back, and this time for revenge. Up next. Greetings, everyone. This is Everything Board Games, and I'm your host for today, Paul, the Techno Funk Boy. Really appreciate you tuning in. Today, I was a little bit wary going into a project, and this is not the first time I've been wary about going into a project. And in fact, this particular umbrella of games, if you followed my videos in the past, I've done a couple of videos on Everyday Heroes, and I'll go ahead and start putting up some links here in the corner. The first time I got a hold of Everyday Heroes, it was kind of their starter set, and the system looked good. It's a tabletop role-playing game that kind of uses 5th edition as its base and builds on that. But there's a couple of points to it. The first one is that we're going to turn it from more of a medieval thing into more of a modern thing. But the other one is that Evil Genius Gaming got the rights to translate some classic and cult classic films into tabletop role playing using this system. And I was a little bit worried about how seriously they're going to take this. So the second video I did was on Escape from New York, where I was like, okay, I like the system fine, but how are they going to tackle this? Is this going to be just we're going to play through the movie? Are they going to take the source material seriously? And I was absolutely thrilled with the result of that one. It was a lot of fun, and they did take the source material seriously. So this time, what we're tackling is The Crow. And I'm wary again. Okay, and the reason I am is like, okay, now I know that they're serious. Now I know that they're really putting effort into these properties. Now I know that that they're wanting to make something really fun. They're wanting to make it to make it an original adventure, but tied into what's familiar. And they're wanting to expand it enough that this can be a campaign if you would like it to be. The Crow's different, though, isn't it? I mean, The Crow's different because The Crow is the story of one person going after revenge. Okay? So they're supporting characters, and you could build something on that, sure. But it's really the story of that one person. So, like with Escape from New York, I had to suffer, and I suffered for you in rewatching the movie. I'm joking. I love that movie. Both of these, but Escape from New York, The Crow, absolute great time rewatching the movie. But I did want to rewatch The Crow to kind of get back into the world, to remind myself of what's going on. Now, the thing with The Crow, though, is I've only seen the first one, and this draws from all of the movies, but in particular draws its lore mostly from the first two films. I'm coming into this, I think, the way most of us will be coming into this game, having seen and having loved the original movie, but not having a lot of knowledge beyond that. And so that was kind of my baseline with this. But the first question I had is, how in the world are we going to get multiple characters into this? And I'm going to save that question to the end, because there's a little bit of a spoiler there, and I don't really want to go into spoiler territory quite yet. Suffice it to say, I think the solution they came up with was pretty cool. Like with Escape from New York, this book is split into a few different categories. The first is just kind of setting. really filling out the world, really expanding on what we know in the universe. You know, the way all this stuff works. If you remember from the Crow movie, um, Brandon Lee's character is allowed to return from the dead a year after he's killed in order to get revenge on the people who murdered him and his fiance. And so it's really expanding on that, on what is essentially a magic system here of you know, being returned for the purpose of revenge. There's a few more character options that build on the everyday heroes thing that really fit into this world. And one of the things that I frowned out at first, but as I was reading, I really started to like, is that the Crow archetype is not the only one listed in the book. Now, I mentioned before, I haven't seen the second movie. I kind of looked at a synopsis, and it didn't seem like there was more than the Crow in that one either. But they're really kind of trying to get more elements in here than just this one archetype moving forward, but different animals that contribute to your character and your abilities in different ways. And so what they're really building here is a set of role-playing classes for undead people. It's great. It's a really clever idea. And as I was reading these more and more, like I started off the sections like, well, I wouldn't play anything but the Crow because this is the Crow. And as I'm reading it more and more, I'm like, ooh, I like that. Oh, I have ideas for this. And this is one of the things that I like. What these class types should be doing for us, right, is sparking the imagination. What can I do with this? What can my character be with this? Now, unlike most role-playing games that start at like level 1, which this one doesn't, but you know, you're not really supposed to have a ton of a backstory as a level 1 character. But if you are going to play one of these returned people, you're going to, right? Because you've been murdered and you need revenge. And so there's going to be a prompting of who killed you and stuff. And there's a little bit of a random element in that. But that all gets filled out and becomes the driving force of why you're on this mission in the first place. The adventure itself is dependent a lot on who's with you and who killed you. Because like in the movie The Crow, you're going to be working through your revenge stories. And so there's a lot of different ways that this can play out before it kind of funnels you toward the end, the final battle. And so there's a lot of different battles that can happen, a lot of different settings that can happen. I appreciate there was an effort to kind of vary the circumstances here a bit. As a game master, like I would like to put more elements into that. I would like to put more story into that so that it doesn't become just a string of fight scenes. But the cool thing about doing revenge stories is that your players are going to fill out most of this. They're going to fill out the emotion. Revenge stories are fun, not to play exclusively, but they are fun because it takes the question of why I'm here off the table. We all know why we're here. We all know that we're going to be driven because this is the point. And this is honestly the thing that makes the movie so much fun, is because there's a clear distinction here, of what needs to happen. And there's no question of what needs to happen. There's no questioning about, it's like, well, maybe we should arrest him and put him in jail. No, they all must die. And that's the point here, right? And so that the adventure leans very heavily on that, but it should. And so there's there's not as much plot, but there's definitely a lot of character in the villains. And every fight scene, this is something else that I really kind of like. Every fight scene really it becomes a boss battle. And every fight scene, it's personal. And so as a game master, I can put some, just some gang members that are going to come and try to stop us and stuff. And you might want to do that depending on what you're trying, how long y'all want to play this, or how short you want it to be. You might want to do that. But the main events are personal. And this is the thing that works with revenge stories. Whether it's The Crow, or whether it's John Wick, it's that personal touch that's driving both us as an audience, but also in games like this as players. So let's get to the solution a little bit. And this is a minor spoiler. It's not huge, but if this is something that you want to experience as a player, this is a good time to in just a minute, this will be a good time to shut things off. Let me give you my bottom line on this. For the third time in a row, I came into Everyday Heroes wary of, just like, I don't know that they're going to pull this off. I think they did. I think they did. And I was very happy with the different elements that they pulled together for this game, and how to make what really is a single person revenge tale, how they made it into a team event, I think was very, very good. I don't think that there's as much replayability here as there was with Escape from New York, because this is the thing with revenge tales. I know they've done several movies with John Wick, but really the revenge tale ends when the revenge is done. And with the kind of the mythos that I've seen of The Crow, it seems to be like, okay, your job is done. Your job is done. It's time to go back home. And so you can, I think you can stretch this adventure as much as you'd like. Put all sorts of elements and NPCs, characters, and stuff like that in there. And I didn't mention before that, you are completely able to play not dead people as your characters here. You can play, you can play the cop. You can play, there's several different options here. To me, the returned characters were the most interesting, but there's a lot of room here, and they do make it purposeful in that. And so as a game master, you could set it up that, okay, we're actually some group that helps the Crows along, or something like that, where you can make it more of a campaign. But I do think that this works mostly as an adventure. And so getting to the solution of the problem is that the main villain here is someone who knows the myth, that knows about the Crow, and she's purposefully trying to create them in order to steal your power. I really like that. Because that, just with that, you solve the problem of this really being a single person tale, and now it's a group thing, in that she has brought back more than one person. I thought that was very clever. I like the villain in this game, and I think the whole thing. The whole thing's pretty solid. So that's The Crow. as always, links are below. Thank you, Evil Genius Gaming, who did provide me a PDF copy of this adventure for the purposes of doing this review. I do appreciate that. I've got something I'm working on right now that's that I'm pretty excited about. That's going to be coming up very soon. And so, if you have not, please do like, subscribe this video. Check us out on everythingboardgames.com for news, for reviews of all, of pretty much all the board games that you're going to be looking for. And so again, thank you, and we will see you next time.